Greetings and welcome to the Safing live stream. Exactly.
Yeah,
we have been hopping on this call, obviously a little bit last minute today. Already had some great conversations with people from the community today.
Indeed.
But obviously we have been a little bit rushed into the live stream. I hope so too.
I think all the green lights are blinking, so that looks great.
Yeah, I think, and over here as well. So if the audio does not work, please let us know. The pre-check was basically hitting start stream. So we immediately started. Today's main topic, as it is in the description, we have an actual main topic for today again, is import-export settings and community profiles. To this end, I made sure to prepare links in the description right now. So if you watch this live, you can click into the description. I think I just now updated the Wiki page as well. The Wiki page will develop over time, so next week it will be better with some screenshots. But there is already in there a description, almost written as if it's already out for everybody. It is in beta, so if you don't see those buttons, don't be confused. 1.6 is currently in beta, but it will be available for everybody very soon. And this is partly the reason why we just went in and just made it available, and also put in the work for the new GitHub repo, where you very kindly suggested to put in a structure for everybody.
Yeah, or examples, so that kind of you get the hang of what we're trying to do there.
Exactly.
Which we'll cover in a second.
Yeah. I actually have some interesting details for you there, because I think we had made some interesting decisions in what to include there. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well.
Not the best ones. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I think another shout out to I'm sorry, I should have prepared that. But his Discord name is Nico, is doing NixOS portation.
A package.
Yeah.
Port sounds like
portation, like he's actually changing code. No, that's not what he's doing. But NixOS might get
a community-supported package.
Properly supported community maintained package, exactly. Which is so cool. Like, we had the call today.
That's cool, yeah.
I think it was good to have a call, because a couple of questions on how Portmaster works, what Portmaster really needs.
Yeah.
It's so much quicker.
And also it'd be great
talking about stuff.
Yeah, to get more people in there creating packages for their distros.
Yeah.
Because of course we created the basic like Debian and RPM packages, but we're not actually involved in these communities ourselves. So what we do is we read kind of official recommendations and try to do them the best we can. But we're not actually kind of communicating with these people. So if you're using a distro and would love to have this included there, the Manjaro guys actually approached us, and they now have a Portmaster package in their repo just for Manjaro. So if you absolutely love your distro so much you stop distro hopping, then you're engaged in that community there, that would be a great service to us and the community. If you're like, hey, sure, I'll create a package and put it in the repos of that distro and maintain it.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, and get in touch.
Yeah, definitely get in touch.
Let's talk
about it.
It's not that difficult. Do you want to maybe quickly say how our approach for Nix is? Or what we think will work, or
Nix is really special. I don't think it's applies in a very general way here. So, but please always talk to us whenever something appears. An installer for Portmaster appears out of the blue. Yeah, we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, we're scared.
What is going on here?
Same thing when somebody...
Is that actually Portmaster, or is something else?
No, actually, like when
So-
somebody took over the AUR thing
Yeah,
and just
that
made
was pretty
something
weird.
that was so weird. That
Okay.
was so weird because the AUR, like we sort
I
of
forgot
maintain.
about that one. I listed them in RPM before, but yeah. So that would also great to have people on there, and you especially AOR, you can have multiple people maintaining stuff there, just kind of to get the community more involved in helping us stay up to date with packages in Linux. That would be great.
Because there are so many distros, and maybe just to clarify that here as well, for NixOS, they asked to get out like auto updates removed, and we said for us auto updates is what makes the multi-distro possible, even but we don't we're not married to that idea, and if changes need to be made for your distro, reach out. We want to be as open as we can. With the time that we have.
Yeah.
But usually a quick call answers a lot of questions very quickly. So we don't want to be rude there as well, but we will take an hour-ish, and most of the questions will be covered within an hour, we guess. At least it has been up until now. But not so many distros have reached out. Thus far, only two, NixOS and Manjaro. Interesting. Not that the Nix people, but like Nico.
Someone
thank you.
wanting to
exactly
maintain a package there.
Exactly. And I will try NixOS probably. If he gets it working, I will give NixOS a try. I've recently, because I like my distro hopping, started to think maybe to get into Ansible. Just as a quick thing here. Yesterday was a holiday in Austria, and I wanted to maybe switch away from Pop OS, and when I started considering hopping distro again, I'm like, I think I should learn Ansible better for my use case.
It would be interesting how Ansible and NixOS even work together.
Yeah,
because they're kind of overlap there.
And we of course use Ansible for SPN setup and stuff, and we
internally too. So
exactly, and so we talked today. Maybe if you're interested in running a community node, reach out as well. We have been thinking of maybe releasing some stuff for Ansible to make it easier.
An Ansible role to set up SPN for you. So that's something we've been thinking about.
Yeah.
But also that would be great to have if someone of you is a Ansible fan and uses it a lot. That would be also something great that could be maintained by the community. So we're more and more trying to get the community on board, and for that we also created a new GitHub organization.
Yeah.
What's about that?
That is linked in the description below. We called it Portmaster-community. We are currently, the two of us are currently the admins for that. This won't change very soon, but we are very, very open to get more people in there and to even hand off the whole thing. In the end, we want to sort of make sure that it goes into the right direction. But the idea at the moment, so the first thing was the repo for apps, and in there the app settings where I already said you created a skeleton structure where there are already readmes in there so that people can see, okay, good. So we want to have stuff like general apps, so browser, just what are common settings for browsers, but then app specific stuff. So I already created a Firefox profile in there as well with stuff that I recommend people should change in their Firefox. Because Portmaster, of course, has as default settings that work for everything. You might have different needs for your specific application.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially as there are many apps, native apps that kind of were made for that one service or made for that purpose.
Yeah.
So general apps like browsers are a bit hard to constrain because they're almost a separate OS themselves.
Yeah.
But things like apps like Discord or
your email.
Is there a YouTube app? I don't even know.
No, not on desktop yet.
Oh, okay. So, but it's email apps. There are a lot of apps that you do install that have a very specific purpose, and that these are apps that you can restrict very well with Pourmaster and just give it the scope it needs to protect yourself from whatever this app would do on a network if like something would happen to it.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice way to improve your security and privacy in that regard. So and that's where we want to empower the community and give the community a place where everyone can exchange things on that, and the community can debate on like kind of what would be a good starter template for this and this type of app. So what's a good starter template for a browser, for an email client, for like a wallet, for example. That's something like I think people really want to protect.
Yeah.
A lot.
A crypto wallet.
A crypto wallet. Yeah. So. So that's kind of one thing, is to kind of to have generic templates that is what we're starting out with, and also kind of having like global settings for like different use cases. So someone in the EU might create kind of a template for kind of restricted communication within the EU only for some or something. So they could kind of propose that the community can discuss and then add it to there. And
GitHub's discussion is already enabled as well.
Yeah. So, and the next thing we're working on, which will go into beta the next 2 weeks, I hope, is that you can not only export settings, but export a full profile. So that includes, for example, the how processes are matched. So someone could create a profile for Steam that matches all the important kind of Steam folders, and kind of make an example for Steam with all the games and one without all the games. So someone could create a new app profile, so kind of a setting of collections and apps that work well for Steam gaming.
Yeah.
So that's the next step where we're going with that.
Yeah.
And the idea is to, of course, like right now, we'll be involved in kind of helping that grow. But the idea is that the community will soon be able to take over, and we already have a couple people in the Discord that are marked as contributors, and we kind of want to do the same thing over there, where we people that are active there, we will add them as team members and give them
privileges,
kind of moderator access, so to speak, to this repository. And then whenever 2 moderators approve a change to the repo, then that will be then updated. So whenever someone wants to change something, they can first start a discussion, or if it's a small change, just like do a pull request on the repo immediately, and then it will need to be reviewed by 2 moderators, and then that can be merged. And that the idea is that all this happens without us needing to be involved. So the community itself can evolve there and kind of do their thing there without us like having to like review or police anything. So the idea is
not our intention.
So the idea is really that this is a place for the community, by the community. And if, of course, like we do want to nurture a good structure there. So right now you can't just create random repos. If you have a great idea, what would be a good idea for kind of a thing you want to share or something, or a thing that you think would be great that the community can work on collaboratively, then just ping us and we'll have a call, and we can create new repos for you and give you the rights on them, so you can start working in this space, kind of official community space, where that kind of we govern as a last instance
at the moment.
But we of course hope that we don't have to actually step in for corrective action at some point, but actually the community will govern this in a really great way, and
And the
as
repo,
it works on Discord, I think it's great how
yeah,
the Portmaster community on Discord interacts and kind of also sets standards itself on like interaction and how to do things, how to talk with each other. Of course, we kind of gave you a ground kind of work and kind of a good environment to start that off with, but I think it's great how the community kind of self-develops in that regard, and we hope that carries over to GitHub and works as well there.
In this new organization with this new repository.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
it's not even a week old at this point.
Yeah.
And the Discord, I think, is a year old at this point, with 1,000, I think, over 1,000 members on the Discord, and Discord works well. So we'll see how this carries over. You're right, absolutely right. And it's not everybody's cup of tea, of course, like being on GitHub. The reason why we are on Discord is because that's like more people use it. And GitHub is programmer like focused, but the import export is as well. So maybe some let's get into the details about the import export stuff and what's already on there. So the exports are .yaml files. Currently in the beta, you have to copy it and create the file yourself. I did this manually for the ones that I already created. It only exports the changed settings, and during the import you can decide to overwrite everything, like set it back to default, and then only apply basically those new changes, or you can sort of merge, where it will keep your settings that you have and only changes the ones that are imported. So if you have like filter lists already selected and you import stuff with filter lists, all filter lists will be changed to the imported ones. So it's not amending it, it's replacing it. Yeah. But if the imported settings does not change filter lists and you have filter lists applied, it won't overwrite them.
So it merges the single settings, but it doesn't merge within the setting.
Yeah, exactly.
So just every setting that is defined replaces, but not within the setting. So if the import setting has rules, it will replace them, not add them to the list.
Yeah. And for the emails, I think the currently online it's emails as well for Evolution. This is where I took it from. I feel like the YAML is very short, very self-explanatory, almost very self-explanatory. I think we have to tell people why like disabling something is a 7, not just because we're funny.
That's something we have to work on.
And we should change, and then we will see how we migrate, but we'll get there. Maybe this will be a legacy thing. In there, I was able to sort of like, because of Portmaster, I actually see those are some of the Portmaster things I have to remind myself of. When I looked into how to restrict it properly in a way that's easily exportable and for others to use, I saw the pro tip at the bottom where it says like, if after a rule, I put a hashtag there, I can add a comment. And so I added a comment to my rule. For myself, of course, never do that. But if I export it so that somebody else can use it, and comment is super useful. And so
that comment will be imported again. So if you import that, you will see that comment in the rule, which now is change this domain to your email provider.
Exactly.
So you can actually, for the rules, that's only for the rules. You can give small instructions there. Yeah.
Which makes it very, very useful. And we were sort of like, I was thinking about, especially with the rules, how to properly communicate to a user what to do after they imported it. And I feel like by accident, we already had this in there. Because what it does, the export gives a checksum as well. And if I would add the comment later on into the YAML, which you can do, of course, like it's YAML, you can add any comment in there after the fact as well, but this of course will break the checksum, and so with that you can keep the checksum and so maybe just a note about the checksums in there. So for us, if you don't know, YAML is just called yet another markup language. Very creative, but it is
very human readable.
Yeah.
That's the reason we chose it. It has a couple weird sides to it, but first, for exporting it, reading it, importing it, you won't touch the weird sides because the system takes care of them for you. So it's really easy to read for you and to know, kind of see better what you're importing before you do so. So we don't want anyone kind of to be tricked into importing something they don't want. So it's really important for users to be able to actually verify if they're importing is actually what they're wanting to do. And we added a checksum in there just so that in case, if you're just copy pasting and not actually changing anything, the system, the port master will detect if something broke along the way. So just could be that there's some issue with copy pasting, like somewhere you copy pasting from into something, like, and there's kind of,
you added a line by accident or removed a line.
Yeah. So for some reason something changed, what you didn't want to, port master will warn you, oh wait a second, the checksum doesn't match.
Yeah.
And just as a warning for you, so you know something went wrong. But if you've done this purposefully, and you're like, oh no, this is okay, you can just remove the checksum and it'll work. So the checksums are not there to inconvenience you, they're there to convenience you and to help you not import anything that's broken. Of course, all the settings are validated before you import. So you can't import an invalid setting, that wouldn't work. But for some settings, there's a lot of stuff that is valid. So you can easily import something that is valid, but you actually didn't want.
Yeah,
So
or
that's what the
remove a
checksum is
line.
for.
You
Yeah, or
think
just
you
remove something. Yeah.
Exactly. If you, like, this was the thing what I said, because like if you copy something out, or if something is missing, it's often hard to detect.
Yeah.
And then you think, and when I wrote the wiki page, one of the things I wanted to sort of like highlight what this can be used for is if I already have a game which I configured to the detail, and then I want to move the settings over to another game. Of course, like the whole, what we said earlier with the profiles, with the whole clarification, where does the executable lie or something like that, those are not useful to carry over, but the settings themselves are. And so what I said was it is a great starting point for a new program you install. And
definitely.
with that, you want to make sure that you copied everything. And so the checksum in there is a good, like it checks for you that you copied everything and that it works for you. It's not just like when you move something from somebody who you don't know over and want to make sure, but even for yourself, if you move between applications, very useful. So I think it's a cool thing. And one additional thing, what you said, and we already mentioned, like one of the things we already prepared is crypto wallets, and the one we chose was Monero. The GUI wallet from getmonero.org, I think, is the address. And two things to that. First, it's a 2-part app, which is a bad thing for us to give as an example, because the GUI is basically an Electron thing. And then the daemon runs next to it.
So that would actually be the perfect example for an app profile that we will add in 1 or 2 weeks, because then we can give you one profile that matches both of your things.
That is 100% the case.
Looking forward to that.
And the second reason why that would be great is because it's an app image. And so the name of the file, of the location changes, and you should change it to prefix and not keep it as as a strict path. You should make a couple of changes to that. So it's at the same time a perfect example for something that we want to add in there for everybody to use and to just quickly import it and then see how you should do it for the future. And at this very moment, a bad example, because you can't edit everything in there at the moment that you would need to edit for it to work properly. So yeah, but what I like, the example is not that bad, because it is meant to be used for the GUI part of it. You can turn off internet access to it for basically everything, because it's only connecting to to the Monero daemon locally, like on localhost. And so it does not need any internet connection. And even though it is connecting to the network, and then the daemon is only doing peer-to-peer connections and stuff like that, it's a little bit trickier to lock down, especially like if you're using the cloud version of it and stuff like that. So yeah. But the GUI is basically just localhost. So it was fun to figure that out, which I wanted to tell you. So yeah. Mike has joined us, and I quickly wanted to say hello, Mike. Glad that you're watching and commenting over on Discord. You had to pick up your Santa suit. Oh, I see. Now that Halloween is over, Christmas is the next holiday to look forward to. And I have to read the rest later on so that that the live stream does not look too bad. We have gotten to, before I continue reading what you wrote, Mike, we have gotten actually 2 questions on Twitter this time around. Really? Yeah, which is partly the reason why I was on my phone. Yeah, X. Funnily enough, we put our Mastodon links in the description here. Mastodon people, write us questions, share more. The Twitter folks are growing much faster than yours.
I need to reevaluate my Mastodon handle down here because I'm not sure I'm really on there so much. Maybe.
You can look into that, but Mastodon.
Just sorry if anyone kind of broke me lately there.
Everybody who's complaining about us not being on Matrix and choosing like an less private platform. The one thing I tell people is our Twitter audience is growing faster than our Mastodon audience. Love the people on Twitter as well. I'm myself not as active on Twitter. That I'm basically daily on Mastodon. But yeah, Mastodon engagement not as high as on Twitter. So we have gotten 2 Twitter questions, but the shout out is to our Mastodon, link in the description. The one from Roman K was, is this going to be available for Docker, something like Pi-hole or Edgar Home?
Okay, that's a good question, because we're often compared to Pi-hole and Edgar Home. So there are some important differences between these and Portmaster. So if you don't know Pi-hole and Edgar Home, both of them are a piece of software you install on probably a router or something similar. But it's definitely a separate device on your network. And the idea of these 2 things is that you configure your network, so your router, in a way that it will tell all your devices on the network to use Pi-hole or Edgar Home to use that as the DNS server. And alone from my description here, you understand that this sounds a bit complicated. And for people who don't know what a router is, it is complicated. And that's kind of exactly the point where we're like, but that's the people we want to reach. That's the people we want to give privacy to. That's why Portmaster is built for your desktop. It's built for your computer to sit on it. It's built in a way that it's a one-click install, more or less, more figuratively. But it's just clicking next, as you're used to in Windows installers. For Linux people, it's kind of installing a package, and it does some magic stuff, install something, and as you're private as you're used to Linux.
Exactly, and then you're just private.
Yeah, you just reboot once for the start, but then you're good to go. So it's as easy to install as pretty much any other application. And that's what the goal of Portmaster is. And of course, that's kind of the target audience we think is different from Portmaster to Pi-hole and Edgar Home. But there's also other difference that is really important, where the Pi-hole and Edgar Home, they focus on DNS queries. So that's pretty much the whole thing they do, is they answer DNS queries. DNS is a system that translates discord.com, to take a hopefully more neutral example, to the IP address that your computer actually knows how to contact. So it's kind of more like a phone book of the internet than a firewall. And of course, if your computer doesn't know any IP addresses, it absolutely needs a phone book. It would work without. But a lot of software does work without a phone book because there are other means of getting these IP addresses or have them hard-coded. So things like trackers or especially malware will often use IP addresses, and your AdGuard home and your Pi-hole can do nothing against them.
They don't even see it.
They don't even see it. They wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
So,
because the DNS requests to an Pi-hole need to be like your system needs to send that DNS request to your Pi-hole, to your AdGuard home, and if it has a DNS resolver built in, it probably won't see it either.
Yeah. So Portmaster on the other side is an actual firewall.
Yep.
It sees every packet of your system and it sees everything, and it can also stop everything. And not only is it a firewall, but it is an application firewall, which means it can see which application it was.
Yep.
So that's what makes it possible in the UI to show you a nice overview of which application was trying to access which thing on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's especially for privacy. That's really important because just knowing that your device accessed this thing on the internet doesn't give you a lot of information on what is going on here. So you really need to know, so okay, it was my browser or it was kind of my email client doing something it shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Or wait a second, Steam is connecting to like Google.
Yeah.
Something's wrong here. Oh, Portmaster blocked it already because that's Google. I think they have a Google Ads thing integration, or was it just
Don't know.
some analytics? Yeah.
My favorite example for this is Facebook. Some people want to use Facebook in their browser, but for instance, they don't want Spotify to connect to Facebook.
Yeah,
But Spotify has a Facebook integration, so Spotify naturally would connect. And in your Pi-hole, you cannot distinguish like which one is which.
Yeah.
Is it your Spotify which is connecting, or is it your browser which is connecting?
Yeah, you won't know.
Yeah, exactly. So those are sort of like the
That's
differences.
A really good example. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of a couple of differences between Portmaster and kind of Pi-hole and AdGuard home. So the question was, will Portmaster be available in a similar fashion? Of course, we could do something in that direction, and maybe one day we will. But the question is, why? And we know a couple of reasons why it would be a good idea, but right now we are focusing everything on getting Portmaster in its primary use case to its best.
Yeah.
And that's our full focus right now, and to push that boundary and get that forward, because that is actually where Portmaster shines. And it would take a lot of work to get Portmaster to compete with Pi-hole and AdGuard home in their domain.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Pi-hole and AdGuard home are targeting different use cases than Portmaster is.
Yeah.
And of course, with the use case Portmaster is targeting, Portmaster is a lot better than Pi-hole and AdGuard home. But if you're actually looking for something like Pi-hole or AdGuard home, of course Portmaster won't cut it because we're actually targeting a different use case. And for us to be better at the stuff that they're doing with their use cases, that would be a lot of work. And the question is, if Pi-hole and AdGuard home exist,
why do it?
Why do it?
Yeah. And you said something
if they're
like
there
that.
and if they're good.
Yeah, and you said something like that, I think 2 or 3 live streams ago, where you said, in like when we are at a point where we like being, where Portmaster is at a spot where we think it's great and it can be like, we don't see any immediate obvious improvements, then we will observe the landscape and look, and
where's the next biggest pain point of privacy for people?
Exactly. And maybe it will be a browser, maybe it will be, this was the topic we said last time, I think it was the browser, because we are getting asked about the browser quite a lot. I know that you don't like this, but the other thing was, or would be this, of course, like getting, like protecting more stuff on your network. you know.
Yeah,
And we see that, and of course, this is an easy next step. But we'll see. Not the browser, probably. So, but we are open to this, and it's not something that we will never do. This is not what we're saying. But I think you made a beautiful point. The last time around, where can we exceed, and what you now added to it is they're doing a great job anyway. We don't want to replace stuff that's already good. We want to add something where we see a need. And we see a very like a high need for stuff that's more granular, that can tell and is with you all the time, like with your laptop that you take out into the world, and it's not restricted to your home and easily bypassed with with just connecting to an IP address directly or something like that. There is and was need for Portmaster, which is why we built it. Lagex said hello and thank you guys for your work. Yeah, thank you for joining us today. If I don't recall if you have been with the live stream before, we're doing this every other week. So live streams are every other week, and you can write in questions in advance if you cannot make it next time. We will look at the comments of this video, or like on Discord. Typically, there's a chat up about a week in advance, where you can post questions or just answer us on Mastodon. To get back, I read Mike's questions before I go to the next Twitter thing. Mike asked for the deadline for the Black Friday promo. For anybody who has not watched last live stream 2 weeks ago, we're doing a Black Friday promo, which is we're gifting everybody who is a Portmaster Pro subscriber with an active subscription for a yearly subscription. So if you're on the monthly plan, you would need to change to a yearly plan, and you will have to have a proper email address in there. You can remove it afterwards. We don't want the email address. We just need sort of a way to make sure that you're actually getting the gift card code. And,
a verified way to contact you.
A verified way. So that's everybody with an active Portmaster Pro subscription, yearly subscription, will get 2 gift card codes for 2 weeks of Portmaster Pro, so that they can help gift it to somebody in their family or friends who are doing online shopping for Black Friday or during Black Friday. This is also the reason why it's 2 weeks, because it's the Black Friday Cyber Monday week, which is the intent for it. But of course, you can use it for yourself as well. But
the intention is to give it to others who you want to protect.
Exactly. But if you want to use one for yourself and then give the other one to somebody else, we don't judge and we don't check. It's not our thing. Everybody knows what they want to do with their stuff. And the question is a good one. It's actually we want to send out the codes the week, of course, before Black Friday, which is the last week of November. So we will be sending out and checking on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. That's tomorrow in 2 weeks, or today in 2 weeks, and then tomorrow in 2 weeks time. And we will sending out the emails during that time. I cannot, and it says in there, we aren't sure if we can do everyone who just added their plan on the 17th to make sure that it's before the Black Friday week, but everybody basically on a normal work day who signed up until Thursday their time, we will make sure to send everything out on Friday, and then Monday we will do the cleanup for everybody afterwards. So those gift card codes will go out, and you can give them away, or again, use one for yourself or both. But the intention is to give it to other people. Yeah. And this is valid for everybody. If you're already on a subscription, you don't have to do anything. We thought about how can we gift something to people who are already supporting our work. And so we figured gifting it to everybody with a yearly subscription is the best idea. But it's open. We inform everybody to participate if they want to. So, second question from Twitter. But thank you, Mike, for asking, and great for the reminder. The second question was, and this is probably a quick question, any chances of a macOS release? Are there any chances, Daniel?
There are some chances, but I'll explain the situation. So back when we started working on Portmaster, we of course realized for like the depth of control we want to give our users, we will need to integrate with operating systems on a quite a deep level, which turned out to mean a kind of just Linux was the easiest one because it has great interfaces with IP tables, the NFQ, which kind of gives us the packets, and we can set marks there. And then now we also have support for eBPF, which is another way to kind of have a tighter integration with the current network stack. So there are a lot of cool stuff there, but like Windows and Mac don't have these really nice and quick interfaces. So for Windows, we started building a kernel extension, and for Mac, we
finished building a kernel extension.
We finished.
We built the kernel extension.
We built the kernel extension.
Yeah.
And are continuing to improve it.
Yeah.
And for Mac at the time, we had a couple of Macs in our company, so we're like, that would be really great if we could also like start off with Mac at that point in time. So we looked into that, and at that point, we were like, yeah, we have this like kernel extension system, but it's gonna die in 1 or 2 years, and we're like, oh.
We're not gonna.
And the new system that's gonna replace it is not even ready yet. So we're like, okay, this is the literally worst time to start working on Mac. So we didn't. And we started off with Windows and Linux and got them off the ground. And since, of course, there were a couple of things happened in the Mac ecosystem. So the new thing actually came out eventually after also the first versions not even supporting firewalls. So there was an outcry of firewall developers who were like, oh, give us our interfaces. They did, which is cool. But the situation is still weird. So I think a recent Mac beta actually broke firewalls again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mac and third-party security tools, it's not a love story. It's, well, more like an on and off thing. But yeah. So the Mac world is still kind of getting its script together, I think. And we'd love to start there. The thing is, now that they're ready, we're not ready anymore because we need more resources. We just, at the moment, don't have the resources to dedicate to Mac development. And we'd love to start right away, but we just don't have the time to do that. And you can also, like we 2 weeks ago, I think, we started sharing, or like more 3 weeks ago, we started sharing the progress on our company journey. So now in the Portmaster, you can see like how far that is. We just updated that today. Yeah. So you can see there. And
it has been going up.
Yeah. So we're growing as a company, but that also means that we're still short on funds and we can't hire additional people. Yeah. Which means we're still resource constrained, and we will be for a while. The way it looks. So I think it's unrealistic to start on Mac development in less than a year.
Yeah.
So,
no.
From what we can say right now, we don't know what happens.
Yeah. But also the next platform would be Android. Yeah. So we already know
that's what we already started working on. Yeah. And the SPN for Android is in beta without the other Portmaster features. So there is actually Portmaster beta on Android that you can try out and give it a go. So you can just log in there with your account and actually use SPN on your phone. Yeah. So that does work. But development there is also paused because we don't have the resources. So, but we'll continue that. That's the next thing we will continue with as soon as we have the resources to continue on that. And as I said, you can check the status of that in the Portmaster, and it also links a blog post that explains that in more detail. And that's kind of the state of Mac at the moment. So the answer is isn't no. The answer is not now.
Yeah, and not soon.
And not very soon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, like in regards to resources, as we said in the beginning, and a couple of people have been joining it, the live stream throughout us talking. So I guess a lot of people haven't caught that in the beginning. A lot of more people are from the community are reaching out and helping us from the community as well. NixOS is something where somebody now started actually working on porting with it. We had a call today with that person. It's super cool. And if somebody wants to do a port for Mac of Portmaster, reach out.
Yeah, definitely.
Get in touch.
We will
if
tell
you're a
you,
Mac developer.
Yeah. So actually, just to tell you, we actually, with every release, we also build a Mac version.
We do.
Yeah.
I did not know.
So we built that just to be sure that we don't break interfaces we have with Mac. So we actually built a Mac version, but without the US integration. So actually everything is there. The only thing that is missing is a developer that will take the interfaces that we've already developed and are used for Windows and for Linux, and just plug in kind of a Mac part into that, and we're good to go. Of course, there's like a lot of like this fluff around it of like signing that stuff and us getting a developer account and stuff like that. But that's stuff that we can probably manage somehow.
Yeah. If so, for real, if you're a Mac developer interested in helping us with the system integration, we can do the rest. But like figuring out, and of course we would have to work on probably a maintenance for that code part as well. It is super cool. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I think like all the other stuff is solvable. We'll find a way to do that. And there is another open source application firewall out there. It's called Lulu by the
Objective-C,
well-known macOS security researcher Patrick Wardle. He runs this like project nonprofit, I think, Objective-C. So he has a couple of security tools. If you're on Mac, you probably use his stuff if you're security conscious. He has a couple of cool stuff on his website. So he also created a open source application firewall. That was quite some time after we started working on Portmaster. So that wasn't initially available when we started out. It already uses all the new systems from Mac. So there's like prior art. There's all the interfaces. We can get you up and running and tell you all the pieces we need and how you can integrate. I think that could be a really fun project if anyone wants it. So it's just that we don't have the know-how, and us starting to do this without the know-how would just take really long. So we definitely need to bring someone in from the outside who already knows all this stuff
for Mac.
And that's just where we don't have the resources to go forward with that. Yeah.
So you need to not just have once written some application that is running on a Mac as well. You need to
that's Mac. That's low level
firewall
Mac stuff.
Yeah, low level.
You need
Mac
to
stuff.
know really how like the Apple ecosystem and like their stuff.
System integration, deep system integration stuff. Yeah, that's very important. And so this is partly like we don't want to spread our resources thin. Our Android will be the next thing. Mike was joking, Apple products are still a thing. Apple actually had released new MacBooks with M3 chips this week. They are still a thing, and I guess more people have iPhones with Windows or with maybe even a Linux device, although I would argue that more people have Linux and Android than Linux and iOS, but whatever. My point is, maybe we will even tackle iOS before we will tackle macOS. Also because
I'm literally with that one. It really depends on like how far we go with Android.
I know.
Because the whole thing with mobile is still the UI thing, and we haven't yet solved that for Android. So much of the UI thing, how to display all that information you see on a desktop, how to like cram that onto a small screen in a way that doesn't look crammed. So that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Still have to solve. So
But from one platform to the next,
Yeah.
from how much it would help users, the roadmap would look like having unlimited resources. The roadmap would probably be Android, iOS, and then macOS, and then like
Possibly,
and then a Docker situation like home, a network thing, and then a browser. With unlimited resources, that would be
yes, of course. With unlimited resources, I agree.
and maybe we throw in and saving DNS in there for good measure, you know.
Just to like round it all off.
Exactly, to make you absolutely mad.
All the things that people want us to build.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah, no, all those things
I'm
are
not sure about that one.
all of those things are things people have been asking us.
Yeah, it's really important kind of to keep focus.
Yeah.
And not kind of spread our kind of our resources too thin, because then we end up with a lot of crap.
Yeah, a lot of half-finished stuff not working. And I think we have done a fairly good job with focusing on Portmaster for desktop. As you said, we in the beginning wanted to do macOS as well, and we ditched that for focus reasons. And some people might argue that doing Linux and Windows at the same time was too much already. And now with Linux, the reason why we're not doing the Nix integration or stuff is because, again, like another distribution, another thing we would have to maintain. And I'm so glad that people are stepping up and saying, well, I can do that, because they love Portmaster, they love NixOS, and they would love to make them work together. See them kiss, you know.
Yeah. And that's something I would like wrap around to again, to kind of the main topic of today is Portmaster community. And so that's definitely something we want to nurture, we want to see grow. So there's now the Portmaster community GitHub organization. If you want to be a member there, just ping us, we'll add you. And we want to get that going. Also, if you have more ideas on like how you want to collaborate with the Portmaster community, ping us, let's have a short call. We'll create a repo for you, give you kind of rights on that, and you can get going.
Yeah.
So we really want to create this space where the community can get creative, the community can start building stuff they love. So that's really what all is about, kind of getting the community more and more on board, and giving them the place to create cool stuff. And if anyone like wants to build their like integration with their Linux OS, or wants to create kind of some tool for Portmaster, we're really happy to hop on a call and tell you about all the APIs and the interfaces you can use to build a cool add-on or a cool utility for Portmaster, to make it even more amazing with your operating system.
And your use case.
And your use case, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Super cool. We're almost up, so I guess thank you everybody for watching. Please, I know the YouTuber thing now, please subscribe. We have been growing with our subscribers. We're not, the reason why we are on YouTube is because sometimes people find us through YouTube. So subscribing, I guess, helps, and liking and commenting. Comments on YouTube have not been a thing very much lately. Who knows? But if you want to engage with us more directly, Discord is the place to do. The link is in the description as well. Again, there's also a link to what you just said, like the GitHub repo, and the Black Friday promo is still going. Like as Mike was saying, or reminding us, it's 2 weeks to go. So if you are looking into getting something to gift somebody or stay more private, give Portmaster Pro a try. You can buy it for a month and then upgrade to a year, so you are actually able to take advantage of that promo. But also Portmaster Free is also, it's a one-click install, like hit next, and you're good to go, and it already increases your privacy. So if you cannot afford Portmaster Pro, that's absolutely fine. And we want to improve privacy for everybody. So just installing Portmaster on your device or on your loved one's devices, just so that they are like get the trackers blocked in every application, is already like a huge improvement for privacy. And it will stay that way. This is the reason why we give Portmaster away for free. Sometimes people have been asking us why we give away for free so much, and the reason is because privacy is important, and that's what we strive for.
Yeah, I think we even had a small anniversary like around these days. I think like more or less 1 year ago we started with like subscriptions.
Yeah.
For
SPN.
SPN, so,
SPN actually is a year now old. Yeah, you're
that's
right.
a year now. So and quite a couple of people are still with us after this year, which admittedly was bumpy in some regard. So that's really great to still have you here and still supporting us. So thank you all of you who are subscribed to Portmaster, now called Pro.
Yeah. Back then it was Portmaster Unlimited.
Yeah.
Or was it just SPN? I don't know.
Yeah. So right now it's Portmaster Plus and Pro. So thanks a lot for everyone who's still with us. Really great
Super cool
to have you here and to have you in SPN and using Portmaster. So yeah, thanks. You all make this possible.
Yeah.
And it's really great to have you. And we'd love to give more and more privacy to everyone. And that's what you're enabling here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have a good week. See you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
That will be almost the last day when you can do the upgrade for the Black Friday event. And have a good one.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.